Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Terence, Crawford, and Canelo. We've been talking a lot about these two guys and about what they're doing to give themselves the best chance. How about this? How about I just take my whole head off of here because I heard somebody say, not on one of my videos, that they don't care to see the person talking. They don't mind hearing them. They rather see the person being interviewed or the thumbnail. So how about I do this, right? I thought that was comical, but let's do this. How about that, all right? I don't know what looks better. Maybe I should just take my damn clip off of here, but anyway. Terence Crawford's Diet. We talked about Canelo's. But ladies and gentlemen, man, I think Crawford deserves a deep dive into the things he and his team have him doing as far as his nutrition as he gets ready to fight Canelo at the 168-pound limit. Now, I personally think for Terence Crawford, what we're going to be saying is Terence Crawford has put on one of the most fascinating transformations in modern boxing. And I'm going to tell you, in order for Terence Crawford to do that, diet is going to be key. And I think for Terence Crawford, I think his diet and his physical evolution are the two things that people are just going to be shocked when they learn about it and when they see what happens to him when he actually attends the weigh-in. Because we know he's getting ready to prepare to face Mexico's juggernaut Canelo Alvarez. So better believe Terence Crawford and his team won't leave any stone unturned, because this isn't just a fight. You know, this is a pretty big deal. Terence Crawford he's hop, skip, and jumping, because that's exactly what he's doing. He's hopping from 154, skipping past 160, and jumping up to 168. So Terence Crawford is hop, skip, jumping. That I should save that title for a video. Y'all see how I come up with this shit just to run in my big mouth. I have ideas. But understand this. Crawford at 147 to 168. Now he's facing a man who's fought at light heavyweight. And no rehydration clause. I mean, just allow yourself to digest that. 147, 154, that doesn't even really count because he fought there one time. But really, it's a 147-pound man going up to 168 pounds to face somebody who fought at 175. No rehydration clause, no catch weight, no excuses, just mano y mano. That alone deserves a lot of respect. So how does a fighter like Crawford, who's hop, skip, and jumping, who's known for speed, known for precision, known for slick movement, right? How do you take that guy who looks kind of wiry and just like an upside-down slingshot when he's fighting at 147 pounds? At 154, he looked better, but still, he didn't look like huge or anything. How do you take a guy like that and bulk him up without him losing any speed as far as his punches, his footwork, and without his arms becoming heavy to where his power now, it may show up first couple rounds, but then he can't really get it off because he gets tired. How do you keep him from losing his edge? So I think nutrition has 100% to do with establishing a sound foundation so Crawford doesn't compromise any of those things. Terence Crawford, man, he's locked down. You know, they give you little glimpses into his training camp, but really, he's locked down. Not many people know what's going on with him. You get a little report from a credible source here and there. For the most part, it's just a bunch of these YouTubers and myself. We just out here conversating. But he's locked down in Colorado Springs, very, very high altitude, very low oxygen, maximum intensity. But the thing is, right, those are things we know. But what's really fueling this machine? So I think we need to try to dig into that. Now, Crawfish Diet, no surprise, has been getting a lot of attention. It's built around snack protocols, okay? Victor Conti's science-based system that combines supplementation, nutrient timing, and metabolic conditioning. When I listen to that, combined supplementation, I'm familiar with that from being a guy who's, lifted a lot of weights, bodybuild, box, done sports. I understand the importance of supplementation. Nutrient timing, I understand the right times when you take your supplementation, when before workouts, after workouts, when you're loading, when to eat, what to eat at certain times, especially how sugars act as a transport system to get protein to the muscle. I understand that shit. I'm talking off the top of my head to y'all because I've done it. But when I look here and understand that Crawford's combining the supplementation, nutrient timing, metabolic conditioning, I'm just telling you, man, that who's just walking outside here? Okay. I am telling you, man, that you combine those three things, you're going to get good results. He's eating protein meals every 3 to 4 hours. When you eat every 3 to 4 hours, that helps to burn fat. And he's eating protein meals every 3 to 4 hours. In case you didn't know, protein is the basic building block of muscle. So Crawford is making sure that every 3 to 4 hours, he's not eating large meals, okay? He's eating high protein meals because remember, he's coming up to 168, but it's not that he's a 154. He doesn't walk around at 154 pounds to where he has to bulk up to 168. No, he needs to actually bring down his natural weight to wherever he's going to settle at 164, 168, 162, whatever he decides to do. But he needs to bring it down to shed that fat, shed that water weight, and at the same time build muscle. So it's a balanced approach. And with using Victor Conti's snack protocols, I just think you're going to get good, really, really good results. As far as the kind of protein he's eating, it's going to be grilled chicken, bison. Some people don't know about that, but bison is another good source of protein. Of course, salmon and egg whites. Is he eating carbs? Yes, but probably clean ones. I'm thinking he's probably eating quinoa, definitely sweet potatoes. I had sweet potatoes this morning. They're going to have the oats, but he's going to make sure that he's not going to have sugar spikes. That's the last thing you want. And he's got taking a lot of sugar. Of course, you can start talking about, the sodium intake, retaining water, and then Crawford starts to bloat, and that's not what he wants. Now, when it comes to fats, I don't know about you all, but me, being a West Indian cat, we eat a lot of avocado. We actually call it zaboka in Trinidad, right? We have everybody has, in their own country, have a word for different fruits and vegetables, but avocado is something that Crawford is definitely incorporated into his diet. Olive oil, almonds, and when you think about these things, they're all designed to support lean muscle gain. So if you didn't know, now you know. Not bulk for bulk's sake. You see, he's eating with a purpose. He's eating for a reason. Everything Terence Crawford is doing is calculated. If he jumps, it's for a reason. If he farts, it's for a reason. If he goddamn sits down, it's for a reason. If he lifts something up, it's for a reason. If he throws a punch, it's for a reason. If he's drinking something, it's for a reason. Everything Crawford is doing in this camp is in a controlled, calculated environment. That way they put out the best end product, which is Terence Crawford being a well-oiled machine at whatever weight that he's going to enter the ring in, at the weigh-in, so that he can get in there and do the business to Canelo. Now, the thing is this. With all this dieting and high-protein diet and eating the right type of carbs, the right type of fats, understand this. The most important thing, because Crawford's training very, very, very hard, is hydration, man. Hydration is key. Electrolyte, balanced water, coconut water. And the thing is this, some people didn't realize this, but they got their own recovery formulas. I can't help but when I think about Snack having their own recovery formulas, but think about Panama Lewis with Aaron Pryor, where he was telling the guys in the corner, give me the black buckle. Not that one, the one I mixed. And Aaron Pryor drank that shit, went out there and just had another what's that called? Getting a second, yeah, he got a second win and went out there and just put the bing bings on Arguello. But that being said, here's the kicker. Crawford's current weight was, I think they were saying about a month ago it was 155. And now they're saying Crawford's current weight is around 158 pounds, 59 pounds. That's why his diet is paired with explosive training, sled pushes, incline sprints, altitude drills. So it looks like Crawford is coming on down in weight the way they want, and they're starting to get to that phase where they really take their time and incrementally build him up to get him where they want him. So the hard training is stripping off the fat. It seems like a lot of that's done. Getting that water weight, a lot of that's done. Now it's where this really watching Crawford's body start to evolve, and the muscle building phase is what they're going through. Now, what's his name? Sean Porter had visited Terence Crawford's camp, and he mentioned how thick and in shape Crawford's legs were looking. Said they were popping with muscle. So when you hear that, now for those of us who have done a lot of working out, we understand that when you cut weight and then you're bulking up and you're building muscle and the protein intake and the, managing your carb intake and the right type of carbs, we understand that. So that means Crawford is already firing on all cylinders. So this argument about this is Crawford and Canelo, speed versus power, oh, no. This is speed and power versus Canelo, for the most part, just power. Okay? So Crawford is speed and power versus Canelo, which is just power. And I would put Crawford's speed before his power because I think he'll have more speed than power against Canelo. And I'll say Canelo probably be power in speed because he definitely will have more power than speed going up against Crawford. So I think that's the argument. But the thing is this. Crawford and his team aren't trying to rush the gains. You know what I mean? They're not trying to rush and, again, have him eating the wrong things just so they can say he's already at 168 pounds. No, they're doing it with intelligence. They're pacing him, and I think that's extremely smart. Now, when we talk performance, Crawford's game is built on twitch reflexes, built on footwork, and built on timing. Adding weight, scientifically, if something gets heavier, it slows down. If you don't change anything else, all the other factors that affect how it performs or how it moves, the object slows. But Crawford's teams, they know this. That's why the diet is paired with explosive training. Sled pushes, incline sprints, and altitude drills. But, with Crawford body looking very muscular now, that's not just aesthetics. That's torque. That's punch resistance. That's power. So Crawford is already at a point in his training camp where he's able to get more torque on his punches because of the way they're gradually, adding on muscle and building him up. He's already improving punch resistance, and he's already improved his power. But here's the risk. Here is the risk with Terence Crawford. If he goes too far, if he tries to match Canelo's frame, see, this is what you don't want to do. Again, I've mentioned this before, but you look at Deontay Wilder and Fury. Wilder wasn't trying to match his frame as far as appearance, but he was trying to put on some size so that he can get in there and try to, try to counteract Fury's bullying him. Did it work for Wilder? Everybody has an opinion, but I don't think it worked that good for him. But the bottom line with Crawford, if he goes too far trying to match Canelo's frame, he can lose the very tools that make him elite. Israel Madrimov, his last opponent, he warned. He said if Crawford tries to be bigger and bulkier, he says Canelo will catch him. And I think even Crawford may know that. I know most of us boxing fans, let me say that almost all Crawford fans don't think that he can be beat or hurt. But those of us who got a little bit of sense, we're saying, you know what, Madrimov, we agree with you. There's no need for Crawford to try to out big Canelo, out bulky Canelo. Just come in there and, put on the muscle mass intelligently, but do not sacrifice your speed, especially the footwork that he has. That's not what he wants. So the diet for me is not just about eating, man. It's really about restraint. Being just like with Crawford in the ring, being precise, having the right timing. Look, just like his fighting style, his diet needs to mirror that. One thing I'll say, since we're talking about Crawford bulking up, is his body has evolved across 4 divisions. You look at him at 135, 140 to 147. You wonder how the hell he has been able to carry that speed, to carry that power up the ladder. It's through the proper training methods, the proper nutrition, the right team, the right supplementation strategy. Now he's taking a jump again, hop, skip, and jump up to 168 from 154. My thing is, I believe he can maintain the speed, maintain the power. But can he be the same Bud at 168? Because what's coming back at him now is a lot different from what was coming back at him at 147 and what was coming back at him at 154 when he fought Majumov. Canelo is no joke. That's why a guy like Crawford's diet includes, BCAAs, branched chain amino acids. He's using the creatine monohydrate and beta-alanine, all aimed at preserving his fast twitch muscle fibers, which is what he's going to need. He's also using intermittent fasting cycles to improve insulin sensitivity and keep his metabolism sharp. And let me tell you something, that's something that's very, very rare in boxing. But it works for fighters who want to stay lean while gaining mass. Something that's extremely important and that we should not forget is the way Crawford puts together his recovery meals. After he spars, he takes, they call them like post-sparring shakes with whey isolate, tart cherry juice, and magnesium. These aren't just meals. They're performance tools. It's like little grenades, little bombs that explode in his body, man, and feed his muscles. Colorado Springs isn't just scenic. It's strategic. A lot of our the best boxers out there, they go and they train in Colorado Springs. 6,000 feet elevation, man. So Crawford's body is adapting to low oxygen. That means his red blood cell count is rising. Canelo's doing the same thing. His VO2 max is improving. And when he steps into the Vegas ring at sea level, he'll feel like he's breathing pure rocket fuel. And this is really interesting because Canelo's doing the same thing. So I don't know what's going to happen inside that ring, but I tell you what, man, I think we're going to get an explosion when these two actually start letting leather fly. But my thing is the diet for Terence Crawford. Putting the right stuff inside you, it speeds you up. The wrong shit can slow you down. And Crawford's diet supports everything we mentioned with iron-rich foods like spinach, liver, and fortified grains. Not everybody likes liver, but I like liver. Plus beet juice, which boosts nitric oxide and blood flow. So again, we talked about it. For Crawford, fans need to understand it's not just about bulking. It's about building an engine that can run 12 rounds at full throttle, which is what he's going to need to do. Crawford can't afford to take his foot off the gas at all. If so, he becomes stationary, and Canelo can tranquilize him. You just got to understand the psychology of fighting, but also the psychology of food. Food, we're talking about how it can fuel him, but it isn't just fuel. You know what I'm saying? To me, Crawford, his diet is ritualized. He eats the same breakfast every fight week. He tracks macros. He logs hydration. It's all about control, discipline, confidence, and having a guy like Victor Conte helping, guiding you along the way. So when he steps in the ring against Canelo, He'll know every bite, every rep, every drop of sweat was calculated. Terence Crawford's not trying to beat Canelo, and that's what some people need to understand. He's trying to beat him, but not beat Canelo. Crawford is Crawford, Bud is Bud. He's trying to be the best version of Terence Crawford he can be, same way he was trying at 135, 140, 147, and 154. But at the end of the day, especially with this weight gain that he's doing, that starts with what's on his plate. I mean, it's really what it's all about. So when you watch this fight, just remember, it's not just fist flying. It's science, strategy, it's nutrition. So many things that's going on in that ring that, is not visible. But once you understand what Crawford did to get his body in shape to fight at 168 pounds, you'll have more of an appreciation. And maybe you would have learned something and you can make some changes to the way you do business and the way you eat. And I'm going to tell you this, the right diet, the right approach to being ready to fight at 160, the hop, skip, and jump weight that Crawford's chosen to fight the great Canelo, that diet might just be the edge that makes history for him. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, become a member. Drop your predictions in the comments. Is Crawford's diet the secret weapon? We know he's wearing the magic vest to train. Or again, will Canelo's power just prove to be way too much for Crawford as soon as he gets hit? No matter how much Crawford wants to fight, he's a smart guy and he's gonna say, okay, I don't like what I felt. I'm in shape. Let me just outbox him over the 12 rounds and get a decision, and that's good enough for me. Just getting the win is all that matters. Anyway, whether you think Canelo wins or Crawford wins, we'll find out on September 13th. Y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans on 7 continents. Viva El Negro Cabrones and Viva Mexico Cabrones. You want me to breeze.